What is going on, guys? Welcome to Greggle's TV Daily Rewind. Is where we go back and we give you all of your tech news stories from the past 7 days in one single video. In this video, we talk about phones from Samsung that are getting One UI 4 beta that are pretty freaking old. So it's pretty exciting. We talk about a bunch of new foldable and rollable phones that are be coming out potentially in the future to give Samsung some big time competition. We talk about the S22 Ultra and so much more. So enjoy this week's tech news video and we'll see you in the next one. First story of the day, OnePlus 10 Pro. We've seen renders of this phone. What about a case? So remember, this is gonna have that crazy camera setup on the back. As you can see right here, the 4 camera setup, or whatever, 3 cameras and then a flash. But ultimately, it's kind of crazy and weird. Do you like it? Let me know in the comments down below. That's a case render for it. Next up, the Realme GT2 Pro. Now, this won't be released in America most likely, but still, you might want to see what it's going to look like, especially if it's going to come out in your neck of the woods. And when we take a little diver deep into the 9-in-1 mobile site, you can see that the Real GT Pro marketing name has been confirmed by the company. The GT2 Pro render reveals a Nexus 6P like camera module that houses triple cameras on the back right there. You also get key specs on there, such as the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, which is the top end Snapdragon processor, a 6.8-inch WQHD plus display with 120 hertz refresh rate on there, and a 50 megapixel triple camera setup, and the price rumored to be as little as $799. Not bad for a flagship phone, if you ask me. Next up is about the Galaxy S22 Ultra, and this phone is going to be out in a couple of months from now. Basically, the beginning of February is when it should be launched and released. And again, that's what, like 2 months away. But you gotta check out these renders for this case for the Galaxy S22 Ultra because it makes the phone look so sexy. Like, and it puts into context that P-shaped camera that we had thought about what it was going to look like potentially, and we had some moments with it. Check this out. So this is obviously, like I said, a case render. And when you go in here and just look at how beautiful this phone is and the purple and just like the camera layout and just everything of the squared off edges, it looks so cool. I love the look of this and I just wish it folded and had a huge display, but regardless, that's just my own personal wants on a phone. But yeah, very beautiful phone. I think a lot of people are gonna be attracted to this, not only because the camera setup is fairly unique or whatever, but also the squared off edges to give them that squared look from the previous Note phones. And if that color comes in just like this, I think it's really gonna turn some heads. It's really good looking phone. Let me know what your thoughts. First story of the day is if you're like me and you're a fan of folding phones, this is gonna get you more excited than when your grandmother would make chocolate chip cookies. You know, those ones that were ooey and gooey and you just wanted to eat every single one of them. It's gonna make you more excited than that because this is pretty freaking cool. This is coming from the folks over at Vivo and their TriFold smartphone with a virtual keyboard. And you can see just a couple of highlights in a virtual projection keyboard, 16:9 aspect ratio, which is probably very welcome, TriFold design, and a headphone jack, guys. And when we take a closer look at this, this is potentially, if and when this ever does come out, would probably have a stylus pen to go along with it, maybe. And it's gonna have the TriFold at the top, so you have that display, but then you'll also have this keyboard that goes down below that's light sensitive projective virtual keyboard, which is going to allow you to control the phone in the grand sense of everything with its 16:9 aspect ratio, which will make videos look amazing on there. It'll be full screen. You won't have to pinch in to see my videos, for instance. You'd be able to just watch it full screen on this beautiful, huge display. And when you think about something like this is potentially a laptop replacement type device or a small laptop replacement device. And Vivo, hopefully they come out with something like this. And I think you probably will see this in the next year or two as devices mature, especially on the folding side, with a 3.5mm headphone jack to top it all off. Next up is a little PSA. If you have a Samsung phone and you're still using Samsung Cloud, watch my video. I'll link it down below. I made a video maybe a year ago, maybe longer, maybe shorter, I can't remember, but it's linked in the description of this video that will walk you through because Samsung Cloud data will be deleted after today. It's not very hard. It's a pretty easy video to basically migrate all your stuff from Samsung Cloud over to the OneDrive system if you want to. If I were you though, this is what I would do. I'd back up all my photos to Google Photos. I like the way they archive it, and it's just, you can search for photos really easy. The albums, like, it's just a great photo manager, so I love Google Photos. Beyond that, you can also, with Google Drive, you can also save files and things like that. So I probably wouldn't go with the OneDrive implementation of what I show you in the video, because that's really what Samsung went over to. I'd probably move all my stuff over to Google Drive and Google Photos. As you can see from Ice Universe, news from the supply chain about the Galaxy S22 Ultra. It's going to use VC soaking plates for heat dissipation, which means that they're going to use a vapor chamber cooling system on the S22 Ultra to keep all the heat regulated and keep it running at peak performance. This could be a very hot phone. I don't mean stolen. I mean like a hot phone, like it could run pretty hot, and this vapor cooling system could hopefully potentially smooth things out in the cooling department and make it all nice and great, because of the fact that, remember, it's going to have Snapdragon's newest processor, or the Exynos, the newest Exynos as well. Could be huge performance gains potentially, because the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 flagship is potentially going to give up to 60% GPU performance boost. So big performance gains on that chip if you get it in your S22 Ultra, or if you even get the Exynos in this. I mean, you're gonna want something like this to make sure that it just runs at peak performance. Story of the day is Samsung has not given up on its smart speaker ambitions. Remember the Galaxy Home Mini? Well, Galaxy Home Mini, I believe, only came out in Korea, and it didn't really make a huge splash, and they didn't really release it anywhere else. Well, the Galaxy Home Mini 2 could potentially be a thing. Now, I don't know. If I had to guess, I don't think they're going to ultimately release Galaxy Home Mini 2. I think if they do, I think it's going to be a Google speaker, just because of the affiliation there now going over to like more Google stuff. You see the watch ran Tizen, and now that runs Wear OS, which is Google's operating system. I think we're going to see a Samsung smart speaker, but it's going to be the Google Assistant branded. I don't think it's going to run Bixby. I could be wrong. But I just don't think they can make a dent in the market. It's too saturated between Apple's speaker, and Google has speakers and displays, and Amazon has speakers and displays. It's like, where do they fit in? Why would someone buy that over anybody else, especially the mass market? It just doesn't make sense. So I think they're going to end up making a Google speaker. Kind of a slow news day, and with that said, I kind of wanted to go over this because it's about the Galaxy S22 Ultra. It's a little back and forth between Tron and Ice Universe, and I don't know, I thought it was kind of funny. So we'll just kind of talk about that, because they kind of put down the laziness of how Samsung is potentially going into these last few generations of phones, where they really, and I think you guys feel the same, they're not really pushing the envelope. They're not trying to be the best of the best of the best. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not, but it seems like they're kind of just coasting at this point, and I think this dialogue going back between these guys kind of details that. So first, it starts off with Tron saying the black versions seem like they are designed to emphasize Samsung's OLED screen in the Galaxy S phones. Tired of hearing innovative jokes, like they're not innovating anymore. And then Ice Universe says, it is said that this is the wallpaper for the S22 series. Similar to the S21, Samsung is really lazy. Even wallpaper is lazy to innovate. And then we go on, there's another tweet from Ice Universe saying, for me, the role of black wallpaper is just to cover up the unimproved chin of the S22 Ultra. And then Tron goes on to say, you have a chin fetish, don't you? I thought that was pretty good. I had to like that one. Ice Universe says Samsung's top flagship phone has a larger chin than the 1080p flat screen entry phone. Yes, I mean the Reno 7 Pro chin. S22 Ultra greater than the Reno 7 Pro, but basically the chin is a thing that I guess bothers him. So first story of the day, Galaxy S21 Fan Edition. We've talked about this phone. It should have come out last year. It's been delayed due to like the chip shortage, and it looks like it's probably going to come out in January or February, more likely January of 2022. So basically next month. And specs, let's kind of dive into that and what you should expect. We've spoken about this, but it's kind of rotating back into the atmosphere. So here we go. This is coming from Roland Quan. It says the S21 Fan Edition US model will have a 6.5 inch 2400 by 1080 OLED display. The cameras will be 12 megapixel, 12 megapixel, 8 megapixel in the back there, 32 megapixel front facing camera, Snapdragon 888 processor inside. It's gonna be running Android 11. It's gonna have 6 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage, 4,500 milliamp battery, and it'd be $699 outright. So for under $1,000, you can pick up this phone with some headphones and probably a smartwatch. Not a bad deal. Is this phone super exciting? Not really, but you know, if it fits your needs, which it sounds like a solid phone, then why not grab it? So we're looking at, again, January, February, but more likely January of next year. Next up, if you have a Note 10 or Note 10 Plus, this is very exciting. The One UI 4 beta software is beginning to roll out, at least in Korea. So if you live in Korea, you can pick it up, and it's going to obviously add in that 4 gigabytes of virtual RAM when and if you get this beta, but you can always wait until they officially release it to get those features. But pretty exciting. I don't talk about the Note 10 or Note 10 Plus very much at all anymore, but this is definitely a cool reason. If you still have that phone, you have something to look forward to feature and software wise. If you're thinking about getting the Galaxy Tab S8, S8 Plus, or S8 Ultra, there's gonna be one feature that you will not be getting with it. You probably maybe wanted. You don't really need it, I think, but it's probably a feature that's cool to have. What is it? What's missing? Check out this headline. This is coming from Sam Mobile, who says that the Samsung Foldables will be water resistant, but not its tablets. And to go deeper into this paragraph, it says, and it won't have one next year either. The Galaxy Tab S8 lineup will have plenty of exciting features, but an IP rating will not be one of them. None of the rumors have mentioned it, and our sources have also confirmed that water and dust resistance will not be available on the Tab S8, S8 Plus, or S8 Ultra. That means we can assume that another year will go by without Samsung adding elemental protection to the tablets. I don't think it's really a big deal that it doesn't have it. I mean, how often are you with your tablet where it's gonna be in water or near water or potentially gonna get wet? I think it's very rare that something like that's going to happen. So for it to not have it, probably not a huge deal. Would it have been really nice if it had it, especially for such premium tablets? Of course, but not the end of the world. Here's our first story of the day is about a new watch, the Pixel Watch. We've been talking about this for maybe 2 years now, that it potentially might come out. When is it gonna come out? What is it gonna have? All this stuff. And we've heard some leaks and things like that, and it looks like it did not. It was maybe thinking about coming out in 2021. It looks like it's gonna get pushed back to 2022. And we know that more so because look at this, it's coming from the folks over at The Verge who say that Google is making its first in-house smartwatch that could launch in 2022. A Pixel Watch is finally in the works. And Joshua Swingle put out this nice tweet showing off exactly what to expect if you get the Google Pixel Watch, which should have a round design with no physical bezel. So if you're a big physical bezel fan like you are of the Galaxy watches, you probably want to skip this one. Should have a heart rate monitor, fitness tracking features, daily chargers are required, so the battery life's not going to be too amazing on it. Employees complained about the slow charging of the watch. Proprietary watch bands. Fitbit integration is planned. Google owns Fitbit, so that's kind of cool that they'll throw that in. Spring 22 launch possible. Now, I think if and when this does come out, I think it's probably going to launch with the Pixel 6a, because I think that, if I remember correctly, that's usually when they announce the A version of the phone is like the spring, summer version. So and what better time to get a watch too, to be honest with you, is when spring and summer come out. A lot more people start to go back to working out, especially outside. So this is perfect for that. Next up is about the One UI 4 beta, or even the real software. Now, basically every phone has received the beta software at this point, from all of the Z Fold 3s, the Z Flip 3, the Galaxy S21 phones, the S20s, the Note 20s, the Note 10s, and what phone remains? How about the S10s? That's right, the S10 One UI 4 beta program is now open in South Korea. So it's not open worldwide, but it is open in South Korea, and then it rolls out from there, usually a few days to a week or two later after that. So you can look at this if you want to sign up for the beta. Anyway, start checking that Samsung members app and see if you see the beta for your phone. Now, for the 9s, the S9s, the Note 9s, I'll be surprised. Maybe it'll come out, but if it doesn't, I mean, whatever. But yeah, it's good news for people that have the 10s, the 20s, the 21s, the Flips, the Fold 2, all those phones. Even I forgot about that, the 5G and the Fold 2, they all have it as well. So awesome news for the One UI 4 beta software, and overall it should be rolling out for everybody that's going to be able to get it in the very, very near future. I actually just checked my phone today, my Z Fold 3, and I got the 3rd beta version, and I'm up and running with that, fixed a bunch of things. So there you guys go. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. First story of the day is about Oppo. We don't talk about Oppo a lot, but it was kind of a slow news day, and I know you guys have been asking me to talk about other stuff outside of Samsung and the Apple and companies like that. And Oppo has this new sliding phone coming out. Potentially, it's based off a trademark that they have going on, but it's similar to a Galaxy Z Flip, except instead of folding in half, it accentuates, it gets longer. So check this out. This is coming from the folks over at Let's Go Digital. Let's Go Digital shows off a couple of things here. First of all, you can see that it's going to be their Oppo Rollable smartphone with expandable display. Oppo patents an advanced smartphone with vertical sliding screen. The device is very compact to carry with you and does not contain a folding seam. So no fold seam on there. It's just a full display, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, the design of it, I would say, kind of looks a little old, and if you just look at it when it's completely unfolded, but we're not having a fold mark on there, which I know some people are bothered by. I'm not, but some people are. And then the ability to have this be compact at the same time, like a smaller than normal candy bar phone. There's some intrigue to this. There's some modernness that looks kind of cool about this. I don't fully love the design, like I said, but just looking at these renders, but it's kind of cool. It's an alternative to a Z Flip, but it's in that same category. So do you like this version of a rollout phone rather than a folding phone? Let me know in the comments down below. And then the other story, we kind of talked about this the other day, but it's been rehashed out by, again, the folks at Let's Go Digital about the OnePlus TriFold smartphone, where OnePlus has patented an advanced triple smartphone with a dual hinge and a large tablet-sized screen. Comes with a handy slider to lock the folding position. Some kind of cool technology in this, especially when you look at the trademarks that they put in here. So for instance, you can see they got this sliding key. Obviously, they always have that. I believe that's for, I don't know if that's to slide the phone out or to turn the mute switch off. Next up, you got the magnet. The magnet allows you, I don't even know what the magnet would do. I guess the magnet actually works with sliding out the phone for you. And then you also see it completely in different orientations, such as the rotating turning plate that you can turn around and have multiple displays on each side with a triangle. You can have it completely laid out. You can have it closed. You can have it tons of different ways so that you have a nice huge display to consume your content with videos and games and social media and just all kinds of stuff. Very, very interesting stuff for the future of phones that is going to be out very, very soon. And our first story is about Apple's roadmap 2022, what products we should see from Apple that'll be released in 2022. Some of these get me excited, some of them like, whatever. I expected it, so let's dive into it. Tweet comes from Joshua Swingle. He's pulling this information, as you can see, from Mark Gurman via the Power On Apple's product roadmap for 2022. So first of all, we should see some new iPads and iPad Airs. iPad Pro should come with a new design and wireless charging, which is interesting because that's a tablet and wireless charging. I mean, I'm curious how they end up doing that. I would assume it's going to be some kind of, I guess they could just do what they do now with their wireless charging and throw that thing, which I can't think of, on the back, which is their version of wireless charging. Also, Apple Watch SE2, which is their kind of budget type smartwatch, Series 8 smartwatch, and the Explorer edition, which would be for people that like a little bit more of a rugged lifestyle, as well as redesigned M2, that's their processor, MacBook Airs, the entry-level MacBook Pro, high-end iMac, new iMac Pro and Mac Mini. And the thing I would be mostly excited, which I didn't see on here, would be their new AR, VR headset. Maybe we'll see it, maybe we won't, maybe that'll be in 2023, but that's what you're looking at for Apple's new roadmap of new products, of products that will be released in 2022. Next up is all about another phone, or type of phone, I should say, that I'm extremely excited about, and it's rollable smartphones, something that we haven't seen too much, at least in the USA market, that's easily accessible. Rollable phones, and this is going to be another prototype that potentially will come out and take on the Z Flip 3 and Z Fold 3, and this is coming from Vivo. And the information that we're seeing is coming from our lovely friends over at Let's Go Digital, and they show this off saying that the Vivo rollable smartphone, that Vivo's patented a retractable smartphone with a retractable screen. The rollable smartphone folds out in width, similar to the Oppo X 2021. And here it is side by side from when it's basically completely retracted out to retracted in. And it looks like a bit of a fat phone. So I'd be curious to see how wide and thick that original implementation of it is when it's completely retracted in is versus when it's retracted out. But you're going to see more of these phones come out over the next year or two, three. Everybody from Vivo and Oppo and probably Samsung and many other companies as well that I probably am not even thinking about, that obviously put out phones, and it'll retract mechanically. Not so much with you just doing it yourself. It's going to do it mechanically. So obviously there's some questions as to how rugged that design will be, how wide the screen will be, how much it will retract in. Will it be much more hand sizable? Will it be taking on phones such as the Z Flip or more of the Z Fold size? And to me, it looks like it's going to take on the Z Fold more than anything. And you won't have the divot in the middle of the screen like you do with the Z Fold 3. Not a big deal to me. Like I said, it doesn't. You get over that the ripple in the middle of the screen, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. But that'll be your question of the day. What's are you looking more forward towards folding phones or rollable phones or flip phones, or are you just plain happy and don't want any of that and you just want candy bars the rest of your life? Let me know in the comments down below. With that said, let's get into the Q&A portion of the video and drop that boom. First question of the day comes from Alan Silverman. Hey, Corey, I have a question on the S4 Classic. Is there in the settings a button that you press to let me know when the battery is running low and gives me an alert sound on the watch? And if we don't, how can we find out one for me? I don't know of a button that's just gonna show you, and on anything really, that's just a button you would press that's gonna give you battery life. You should be able to swipe down from the top and see what the battery life is, and you should get warnings as it gets really, really low. But beyond that, I can't think of any way that's gonna give you a button press that's gonna give you the battery life. If I'm wrong, you guys can tell me. Mustafa Ahmed, hi Greg, happy birthday to your son. Can you make a small video of that birthday party so we can all see the nice party? The party's already passed. I do have photos and stuff. You can follow me on Greggles TV on Instagram and see a couple photos that I posted. Dactylo says, I have a question. Are you using a sound card to make the sound better? I have a laptop and I want to buy a sound card. No, I don't use a sound card on any of my devices. I have, my main computers are a Mac Mini and a MacBook Air, and that's it. Currently, so I don't, whatever Apple gives me, that's what I use. So no, I don't use any, and I don't have a recommendation for a sound card. I haven't bought a sound card since, honestly, probably like 2004 or something. Polo Funk says, is it any way to differentiate the sounds notifications for my text messages and emails on my Z Fold 3? If I select robot sound notifications for my text messages, my emails will have the same notification sound. Also, with this happening, I don't know my texts from emails without looking. Thanks. Some apps will allow you to make different notification sounds. I'm gonna put it in my list of things to do for videos. I don't have a quick answer for you. Again, if you go into the settings of some apps, sometimes you can choose a specific sound. I haven't looked in Gmail, just let me take a quick look. I don't know if it has. I'll just do a video. I'll do a video because I know it's just, in Apple it's a little bit easier. With Android, for some reason sometimes it's difficult, but I'm pretty sure you can do it. I just don't generally do it, but I'll look it up for you. Yo, buddy says, I'm watching your channel for a while and I have a question for you. What's your favorite screen recorder app that you use? I always use the one built into the phones now. I use the Samsung one. If I'm using a Samsung phone, if it's the Pixel one, I use the Android one. I don't download anyone, so which one's my favorite? I don't. Samsung, I guess, but otherwise it's whatever. Ben's Tech Tube says, I have the ability to get a second Z Fold 3, or should I wait for the S22 Ultra? I usually buy two versions of every device, the lowest gigabyte with the cool color for play, and the black one with the highest gigabyte for work. I already have the 512 Z Fold 3. Second part of the longest question ever, which color would you get? Phantom Silver, Phantom Green, if you could do it all over again. Thanks, Greg. That's a tough one because it sounds like you actually do put both to work. I think the Z Fold 3 is probably better, especially for work. Like if you're using it specifically for work, I think the Z Fold 3 with the bigger screen is better for work. But if you mean like just bring a phone to work, I'd probably make the S22 Ultra my play phone that I use it for photos and videos and whatever else, and then I'd have a Z Fold 3 for basically everything else. But that's just me. I usually wouldn't want the same phone for both instances, but again, if it's for work, I'd say choose the Z Fold 3. And if I had to choose the color, I would choose Phantom Silver. It's a really nice color. I don't even know if I've seen the Phantom Green in color, but the Phantom Silver is just really nice. Last question comes from Shajil Sajad. Hi Greg, how are you? Hope you're doing well today. Gonna wanna know though, on Apple's longevity, do you agree Apple needs to stop over supporting the devices to a point where new devices don't get as much as they should, like Apple is still supporting devices like the iPad Air 2 from 2014. What are your thoughts? Do you agree Apple should drop support after 5 years? I say drop anything older than the iPhone 8. What's your idea on that? Yeah, I agree. I think anything older than the iPhone 8, they probably shouldn't support. But it's also at the same time pretty amazing that you can buy a device and get software support for years and years to come. And it creates brand loyalty, and it stops them, not only from them, maybe the customer buying their products, but it also stops customers from buying other products from other companies. So, and they're making so much money. So I would say, don't change a thing. Don't. So there you guys go. That is your questions for today. Thank you so much. If you have a question, leave it in the comments down below with the word question. I'll answer it tomorrow's video, and we'll see you down the road.